What's going on, guys? All right, so this is the first part of probably a 5-part series on walking balance. I chose to do this for my MS people because it's such a big deal. Is that walking is one of the most fundamental things that we do as humans, yet with something like MS or a neurological condition, or literally like as we age, and definitely with pain in the hips and the low back, or the ankles and the knees, really, walking balance becomes a very big problem. And especially with MS, you start to have demyelination of nerves, which means that your nerves don't fire as fast as they're supposed to. And so you get things like foot drop, and you get things like circumduction, which means your leg swings out to the side when you're walking, because you literally can't balance. And when I work on people with walking balance, I always start from the ground up. And so the first video that we're doing today is going to be on ankle mobility and how to reverse foot drop, because that is one of the most important things an MS client can do. And I like to work from the ground up because I can sit there and work on your neck and all posture and all this kind of stuff. But if your feet aren't functioning right, it ain't going to happen, because your feet are the things that connect into the ground and send signals back to your brain telling your body where it is on the ground. Like, is it uneven? Do you need to balance? Are you stepping down? Are you stepping up? That's called proprioception, and that's one of the major things that is lost with brain lesions and demyelination is proprioception. So we're going to work on getting that back. Now, during this series, I'm going to reiterate this a lot of times, we're doing just the ankle today, but part 2, we're going to move up to the hips. Part 3, we're going to go into the spine and the mid-back, and part 4 is going to be the neck and shoulders and getting our head and our shoulders balanced over the top of our body, okay? So, for this first video, you get to see my pretty little toes. Whee! Okay? My brother said I have weird feet, and so does my wife, and my older daughter inherited my weird feet because I have this gap in between my toes, so sorry, Isla. Should have picked better parents. So, what we want to do, there's 2 parts to gaining ankle mobility. So when we have a foot drop, what that means is that as we take a step, instead of our foot lifting up, our foot actually just kind of drops forward, and we just kind of strike the ground or slap the ground. It's called foot slap or foot drop. What that is, when a foot is pointed this way, that's called plantar flexion, and when the foot is pulled back, that's called dorsiflexion. So we need to turn down, right, using the rise method of rebalancing, we need to turn down the overactive plantar flexors, and we need to turn up the activity neurologically of the dorsiflexors. So there's 2 groups that I typically focus on just generally when we're talking about ankle mobility. It's the toesies, your toe-toes, and the ankle, okay? So I'm going to show you how to release things in the toes and how to activate them, and release the lower leg and get more activation in the ankle, okay? So let's start with the feet. So typically with a foot drop, what that means is that the foot's pointed forward, and typically that means that the toes are gripping the floor. You see a lot of toe grippers out there, okay? That means that the muscles on the bottom of the foot, the toe flexors pulling them down, the toe benders, toe curlers are overactive, and the toe lifters are underactive, okay? So the best way to stretch those or add mobility to those is actually just to get in with your hand and just rub on them. Okay, so there's the balls of your feet right through here, so big toe, little toe, heel, and you're basically just going to rub right along these feet muscles down here, kind of on the base of the balls of the feet in here, across what's called your transverse line, and you're going to just run your fingers across the balls of that feet and kind of down the inside of the foot. As you can see here, you don't have to get all contorted like this. I'm doing it for the camera, but you can kind of work on that plantar fascia. Okay, we've heard plantar fasciitis, same kind of deal, lots of foot drop. So you want to get this ankle kicking in so that those toe flexors are now turned down. So then, once we turn those down, you want to rub that foot for about 30 seconds on the bottom and really do a good job of using your 2 thumbs and kind of get in and release those toes. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put your foot right out in front of you like this. I'll do it on this foot. So rub, 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 and then you're going to be right here, and then all you're going to do is pull that ankle back so you're in kind of a dorsiflex position, and then you're just going to pull your toes up and back down. I'm just going to hold my foot here and pull up with all your toes, back down. Try to use just your toes, not the ankle too. Just try to use just your toes and back down. And that's why I have people hold their foot so they don't get using the ankle. Back down. So you do, after 30 seconds of rubbing, you do about 20 reps of this toe lift down and up, 20 reps of that toe lift. Now those are fired up. So the next portion of the ankle that we're going to do is the soleus and the calf. Okay, those are the big muscles right here. So gastrocnemius or calf, and then your soleus is the thing that comes down to your Achilles tendon. What I've found with MS is that the soleus really becomes tight, and that's where a lot of the foot drop comes from neurologically, okay? So what you're gonna do is kind of get on the back side of your leg. You can use your thumbs or your fingers, kind of get underneath, so on that portion right here, and just kind of work the muscles on the back side of the calf. So I'm basically working down that soleus all the way down to the Achilles tendon. So you do that for about 30 seconds, and a lot of times with the Achilles tendon, I'll take my fingers like this and just kind of rub up and down, and you'll find a lot of hot spots in there, man. Even on people without MS, gosh, if you've been walking around this planet for more than 5 minutes, you're gonna have a tight Achilles. And so major thing in adults over 50, those with ankle problems, back problems, you should be working the soleus. So we're gonna release that soleus, okay? Because we're gonna move that thing in just a sec. Okay, so we rub that soleus for about 30 seconds. Then we're going to grab a platform like this. Now, this is a fitness step, but you can use a book, you can use a binder, you can use a phone book if you actually still have those. And what you're going to do, this is going to be your stretch pad. So this is a 4-inch step, which may be a little high for some people. So anywhere from 4 inches to 2 inches is good. So what you're going to do is put that against the wall and go ahead and stand up. And then what you're going to do, and I may go out of the frame here, but that's okay. So you're going to put the balls of your feet on the step and your heel on the ground. So right here and right here, just listen to me talk. So you're going to put this foot back. The ball of this foot is going to be here. Try not to grip the step like this. Just keep the toes down because you don't want a toe grip, right? We just worked on that. So we're going to be this way, and all you're going to do is just bend that knee forward and back up, okay? Bend that knee forward. My hand's on the wall here to hold my balance. And back up. Make sure your foot is pointed straight ahead. Not out, not in, but straight ahead. Bend that knee and come back. And you should be feeling that right through here on that soleus muscle. So you're going to do about 10 of those. So it's a 1, 2, come back, 2, 2, come back, just like that. So you're going to do that 10 times. All right? Okay. So we inhibit it, so we turn down the volume on the bottom of the foot, or on the toe lift, or on the toe curlers. We activated the toe lifters, right? We turned down the volume on the plantar flexors, or the ankle pointers, and we just mobilized those ankle pointers. So now, right, now there's more motion going up this way. Now we want to actually activate the muscles that are going to lift your foot up when you walk. Now I want you to do this against the wall, but it's hard for me to kind of film that right now. So I'm going to show you on a step. So imagine my feet are up against the wall, and you just go straight against the wall that way with both feet. So it's going to look like this. You're going to put your heels all the way on the wall, and that gets you in kind of that dorsiflexed, or that ankle lifted, toe lifted position. You're going to sit up nice and tall. Don't sit down like this. Sit up tall with your abs in. Sit up tall this way. If you need to put your hands behind you, make sure your chest is up and you're not sinking down this way. Pull your belly button towards you, and then your feet are going to be against the wall. All you do, keep your heels on the ground, pull your toes back. It's a 1, 2, back down, pull them back. 1, 2, back down. And you're going to do this between 10 and 20 times, depending on how tired you get. And what you want to avoid is bending the knees. You don't want to pull back and bend the knees. That does you no good. So keep your legs flat, sit up nice and tall, or sit up nice and tall, and you're just going to pull back and forward, pull back and forward. And then what I want you to do, after you do those repetitions, get up and walk, okay? Even if for just, 3 to 4 minutes walking around the house, because now that your ankle is in the right position, you want to tell your brain, like, hey man, we can lift our toe, we can lift our foot, we don't have to succumb to foot drop, we can have more ankle mobility. So you got to get that solidified in your brain, all right? So what I'm going to do is I have this video, but in the description of this video, I'm actually going to write down the order and the repetitions of what you do in sequence so you can start practicing this. Again, this is the ankle. We also, in order to regain walking balance and reroute or reteach the brain how to get around those brain lesions, how to get around those demyelinated nerves, we've got to create new pathways, and that means that we have to hit every single joint in the body that is responsible for walking, okay? And the top 4 are going to be your ankles, your hips, your mid-back, spine, and then your neck and shoulders, okay? Those regions are what we're going to be working on over the next 4 videos following this. So go practice your ankle, get started on that. In the next couple days, I'm going to release the second part of this in the hips, and you're going to start noticing yourself walking a ton better with a lot more strength, a lot more confidence, and we're going to decrease the symptoms of MS together, you guys. So let's do this.